In this video, we will walk through the tax responsibilities welders face in Denmark, focusing on what you need to know in practical, day-to-day terms. Whether you are employed at a shipyard, working on construction sites, or operating as an independent contractor, understanding how the Danish tax system treats your income is essential for avoiding costly mistakes and ensuring you keep as much of your hard-earned money as possible. We will cover how income tax works for wage earners, what changes if you are self-employed, key deductions commonly relevant for welders, and the basic steps you should follow each year to stay compliant with SKAT, the Danish tax agency. Let us start with the basics. If you are employed as a welder, your main tax responsibility is to ensure that your information with SKAT is correct so that the right amount of tax is withheld from your salary each month. Denmark operates a pay-as-you-earn system, where your employer uses your tax card to automatically deduct A-SKAT, which is income tax, and AM-bidrag, or labor market contribution, before paying your net salary. Your most important task is to check that your preliminary income assessment, the forskudsopgørelse, reflects your actual situation, your expected income, deductions for transport, union fees, unemployment insurance contributions, and any other relevant allowances. If you change jobs, work more overtime than planned, or move to a different location with a longer commute, you should update this information through SKAT's online self-service so you are not under or overpaying tax during the year. For many welders in Denmark, overtime and irregular shifts are a normal part of the job. These extra payments are taxable, just like your base salary, and they are automatically included in your taxable income as long as they are processed through payroll. If you receive bonuses, allowances for inconvenient working hours, or supplements for dangerous work, these amounts will also be taxed via your employer. Where things become more complex is if you receive any payments outside normal salary. For example, if you are paid as a freelancer for a side project, or if you start taking on small welding jobs privately. In these cases, you may be treated as self-employed, and the tax responsibilities shift from your employer to you. If you operate as a selvstændig erhvervsdrivende, a self-employed person, your welding income is not taxed via a regular A-income salary. Instead, you must report your business income and expenses to SKAT, typically through the annual tax return and, in many cases, via the business tax scheme. You are responsible for setting aside money for tax and AM-bidrag yourself, as no one is withholding this for you. It is crucial to keep clear and accurate records of all invoices you issue, all payments you receive, and all expenses that relate directly to your welding work, such as consumables, protective gear you purchase yourself, tools not provided by clients, and professional insurances. You can typically deduct business-related expenses from your taxable profit, meaning you pay tax on your income after these costs, not on the full amount you invoice. Some welders in Denmark combine regular employment with occasional self-employed work, for example, keeping a job at a workshop while taking evening or weekend jobs repairing equipment, installing steel structures, or performing mobile welding for smaller firms. In such mixed situations, your employer continues to handle tax on your salary, but you must separately report and manage tax for your self-employed activities. It is your responsibility to correctly distinguish between what is employment income and what is business income, using the appropriate income types in the SKAT system. Turning to deductions, there are several that are particularly relevant for welders. Transportation between your home and your fixed workplace may qualify for the standard commuting deduction, known as befordringsfradrag, if the distance one way exceeds the current threshold set by SKAT. If you frequently work on temporary sites away from your usual workplace, some of these trips may be treated differently, and in some cases you might be entitled to tax-free travel allowances, depending on your employment contract and whether your employer reimburses your costs. Membership fees paid to an approved trade union, contributions to unemployment insurance funds, and certain professional liability insurances are generally deductible. If you are required to supply your own safety gear or small tools that are not reimbursed by your employer, parts of those costs may be deductible depending on how they are classified. It is important to keep receipts and documentation so you can substantiate your claims if SCAT requests further information. Another area to keep in mind is cross-border work. Welders in Denmark sometimes work temporarily in other countries or are hired by foreign firms to perform welding tasks in Denmark. If you are a Danish tax resident but earn income abroad, you may be liable to Danish tax on your worldwide income, subject to double taxation agreements between Denmark and the country where you worked. This can be complex, and it often requires careful review of your contracts, where the work is physically performed, and how long you are outside Denmark. Conversely, if you are a foreign welder working in Denmark, you may be subject to limited or full tax liability here, depending on your length of stay, your residence status, and the structure of your employment. In these cases, it is advisable to review the specific rules on limited tax liability and any special expat or cross-border worker schemes. Regardless of whether you are an employee or self-employed, every year you will receive an annual tax statement, the årsopgørelse, from SCAT. This summarizes your income, deductions, and final tax for the year. It is not enough to assume this document is always correct. You should actively review it to confirm that your salary, overtime, allowances, and any self-employed income are reported accurately, and that all relevant deductions are included. If necessary, you can correct and resubmit information within SCAT's deadlines. Failure to report additional income, such as side welding jobs paid directly into your personal account, can lead to back taxes, interest, and in serious cases, penalties. Taking a proactive, disciplined approach to your tax responsibilities is the safest way to protect yourself. In practice, this means keeping basic but organized records, a simple log of any self-employed welding jobs, a folder with receipts for tools and protective gear you buy personally, documentation of travel related to your work, and confirmation of union and insurance payments. It also means updating your årsopgørelse when your income pattern changes significantly. For example, if you move from a stable workshop job to travel-heavy industrial projects, or if you start earning considerably more over time. When in doubt, consulting a professional advisor who understands Danish tax rules for tradespeople can often pay for itself by ensuring you do not overlook legitimate deductions or misclassify income. To summarize, welders in Denmark must first know whether they are treated as employees, self-employed, or a combination of both, as this determines who withholds tax and what reporting is required. Employees must ensure their tax card and preliminary assessment are accurate so that the correct tax is withheld through payroll. Self-employed welders must actively manage and report their business income and expenses, setting aside funds for tax and social contributions. Across both groups, careful attention to deductions, particularly transport, union fees, insurance, and unreimbursed work-related costs, can significantly optimize your net income while staying fully compliant with SCAT's requirements. By understanding these core principles and maintaining good documentation, you can focus more confidently on your welding work, knowing that your tax affairs in Denmark are under control.